welcome. It is Thursday, June 15th, and we are getting ready for an epic auction that we have coming up beginning tomorrow. We are ecstatic.
Very exciting.
We are. It features the Betty Wheeler collection, and her collection was mainly civilian figures, but we do have many manufacturers represented, and we have over 1,800 lots.
It's really astounding. I mean, how are we going to sell 1,800 lots, Bree?
You're telling me. I don't know, but
That's going to be a 3-day marathon. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It is. So we have a little bit for everyone, and it's a 3-day sale. It begins tomorrow, Friday, at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then Saturday and Sunday it begins at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard. And we're ready to go. So bids have been flying in, and everyone seems very excited and ready for this sale.
Yeah, it's very exciting because Betty Wheeler and I go way back. When I was a small child, she used to come to the shows. She was sort of a fixture in the Northeast, and I always remember coming to the Allentown show. Really great lady. She usually came around with her son Rod, but I think Jody was fairly involved too. And just really built a very nice collection of primarily civilian, but also a lot of very nice bands. So there's a lot of great post-war bands that I think will interest a lot of people. Beautiful condition.
There are, and I just think that they're very unique civilian pieces that you really don't see as often, and they're really in great condition as well. So
yeah.
Yes.
So with that, why don't we start showing some of the highlights of the sale?
We will, but I just want to note that you can still register to bid, even though the sale begins tomorrow. You can still watch and bid live on liveauctioneers.com, and you just search for Old Toy Soldier Auctions. It's super easy, and if you don't know how to do it or you haven't done it before, we're more than happy to help. But we also accept absentee bids, via phone, fax, and snail mail.
Snail mail.
Even though, unfortunately, yes, snail mail.
People still do that.
Even though, unfortunately, it's too late for us to accept bids via snail mail for this weekend's auction, but we're still accepting them via fax, phone, and email. So, FYI, and so keep those bids coming.
Bottom line, get the bids to Bree or I, and we'll get them in. And as long as the item hasn't sold, we'll do our best to get them in for you.
That we will. So, with that being said, we're very excited to show you some items from this sale. And we have an auction catalog here to show you.
That's our auction catalog. What is that, auction 33?
This is auction 33. Our cover lot is a Noah's Ark.
It's one of the ultimate pieces. Now, I don't know what it's doing around your neck of the country, but we're here in Pittsburgh. And let me tell you what, it's raining cats and dogs.
Yes.
I mean, it's dumping out there. There's rivers going down the street. So what do you need? An ark.
Ark, definitely in Pittsburgh.
That's perfect.
It's still raining right now, so we could use one for sure.
So again, this is our cover lot here. This is Britain's Noah's Ark. It's set number 1550.
And it's lot 2201, so if you're looking for it online, that's its lot.
I think this is one of the very neatest sets that Britain's ever made. One, this is actually the box. So if you look underneath, this way, Bree, show them.
Yeah, so this is the underneath of the Ark. And as you can see,
and that's the label.
That's the label. It's in great condition. And what also I think is really neat about this Ark is that this top piece actually lifts off, and you can store, the set in total is 25 pieces, but you can store the pieces all inside. They all fit. And with this one, these did not actually come with the original Ark, but
the original owner, that's how they preserved the figures so well.
Yes.
They made a little bag for each and every little figure.
So these bags are all in here. They come with it as well.
And you know the story of Noah and the Ark. Here comes Noah.
And
where's his wife?
Here comes his wife.
Look, and
so we have Noah and his wife.
And didn't like God say Noah built an ark? It's going to rain for a long time. I think 150 days and 150 nights. And what was he supposed to do? He was supposed to bring on the animals.
2 of each animal.
2 by 2.
So they're
our favorite
little
monkeys.
They are our favorite, we'll say. And then we also have little bears.
Little brown bears.
And we're just showing a couple.
There's a lot of different animals because every animal in the world's in this park. Just kidding. There's 25 of them.
There's 25.
24 plus the ark.
Little polar bears.
That's Mr. and Mrs. Polar Bear.
Very cute.
Aw.
And we also have some kangaroos.
Hoppity hop.
But as you can see, I'm going to bring this one a little bit closer. The condition of all of these and the patina on all of these animals is just amazing. So
Yeah, really the ark, I've only actually had 2 other arks before. So it's a very, very, very rare set.
it really is. And I've been, in the 4 years that I've been working with Ray, I mean, I've seen some Noah's Ark sets that are folk art, but I've never seen a Britain's Ark. So this is the first one that I've seen as well. So it's a rare set, and the condition on it just
Couldn't
puts
be
it
better.
puts it in that top tier. So it is a completely amazing set.
And some other animals.
And little penguins, which we are extremely thrilled about right now. Our Pittsburgh Penguins just won the Stanley Cup 4 days ago, so we felt it was fitting to pull the Penguins out.
City of Champions. That's our town.
5 times.
5 times.
Yes.
Go Crosby and the gang.
Yes, yes.
We had to get that in, everyone. All right, so the ark, the highlight of the sale, I would say, very, very rare. Probably going to be the most expensive lot of the day. Lot number again?
Lot number again is 2201.
2201.
And that was our cover lot. So next we are moving on. Well, to some that really caught my eye. These are the World Cows. They're lots 2059 and 2060, and they're Britons, and they're called Nestle's World Cow, and they are pre-war. They're unboxed, and they were from a British Empire exhibition. But what I think is so neat about these is that there is actually a world map. If you look closely, the spots of the cow represent the world.
That's a flat map.
It's
See
a
North
flat
America,
map.
South America,
And
Europe,
I think that is
England.
so neat. And you wouldn't catch it if you just looked quickly. So, but in this one here, this one is the standard cow.
That's what you usually see.
Excuse
Ooh,
me. And
little
then
snowball.
this one's a brown cow.
Yeah, that's a rare variation. So that's with brown spots. You almost always see them in black. Betty had 3 different types. So the standard one, the black and white. This is the brown and white. And then when we aren't showing, there's another one that we call unembossed. So it doesn't say, like on the side here, it actually says...
So along with the flat world map, it says Nestle's World Cow. And I'm sorry, my apologies, my hands are shaking right now, but you can see it right along the front there.
And then the one that's unembossed is actually as rare as the brown one. You don't see that too often.
So we have
really
3 of
neat,
them.
3 different variations. You know,
Very cool.
great thing to have in your collection.
Yes, I agree. So lots 2059 and 2060, and I believe the third one's 2061.
Correct.
Excuse me.
All right.
Next, we're moving on to Britain's set number 109, which are the Dublin Fusiliers, and it is lot 2219.
Okay, now these are first version. We call them first version oval base, and with a paper label. So if you look underneath, why don't you show them, Bree?
Yes,
You can see the paper label.
And this is what you can't see in the catalog, so that's why we wanted to show these today.
So these are the way they were produced at the factory, because these molds are not marked Britain's on the base. So this label says copyright, looks like January 20th, 1901, Britain's Limited. And every figure in this set has a paper label. Usually a couple of them will fall off, but that's what makes it so unusual. Very, very rare, desirable set. There are a number of versions and color versions for this early. Again, this would be dated right around 1901, 1902. They call this smooth helmet, and these have tan trousers and and tan jacket. But there are a lot of versions. I've had them sort of in a chocolate color. They can get more green. There are quite a few variations. All fall into what we call first version or ancient sets. Probably the most desirable and sought after. Joe Wallace just produced a great book that we're going to preview a little later.
He did.
That covers these type of figures. So very, very desirable. This is a nice 8-piece set. We have a handful of first version sets in the sale, but this is probably one of the nicest ones. Oh, and this is another variation too. In this rifle, they call it with a magazine. So if you can show them the rifle real close, Bree.
Okay.
Okay, if you can see right under his hand, there's actually a magazine. Magazine rifles were sort of new right around that period of time, especially in the military. So they adapted it, and you can see a magazine that would actually hold the ammunition sort of right below his hand.
That's very cool. These are really nice.
Again, one of those slight variations, but some of the collectors like all those kind of things.
They are. So that's a nice set. Once again, $22.19 if you're interested in that first version set. The Dublin Fusiliers. And next,
I love
we
these.
have a couple of these in the sale as well.
Yeah, there's a nice group. We got one little grouping of these. Norman Joplin procured a collection out of Wisconsin.
So these are called knockdown sets. This was made by a company called Beiser, circa 1905. And they're so cool because the soldiers are actually mounted in these little slots on this board. And you stand them up, as you're watching Ray stand them up right now, slowly. He's backwards behind me. But like I said, and there's actually a tent that would go on this as well. You could see the little American flag, and it's just a really cool set. This one's in great condition. There's also American flags by my fingers down at the front there. As you can see, the board's in nice condition. You don't really see these completely intact very often. They're usually missing
And my favorite part,
a guy.
they're meant to be shot. So this set actually doesn't come with it, but this is the type of gun that would be, and why they're knockdown. Now, I'm not going to shoot these because they're a little bit too fine. But you take your gun, cock your gun, you aim at the soldier, bang!
Didn't tell me he was gonna do that.
You didn't hit anything.
Yeah, we don't think
Window,
so.
okay.
Anyways.
But that's what's so fun about these. Beiser was one of the few American companies that was producing right after the turn of the century. It is sort of a subsector that there are a lot of collectors that sort of like this early Beiser type figures. And if you look at this one, so again,
So what
if you hit it with it, it knocked down like that. And you'd score points, so each one would have points. This one actually, I just noticed. So, see if you can see.
Okay.
Show them up back there. It doesn't want to drop anything. Underneath it says military game. So that's an original board. And then the tent sort of went in the middle.
So is that a sign, Ray, that it's an original board, or is this
Yes.
this particular one?
No,
has
that's a good indication that you have an original board. It's marked on the back. It does sort of have a particular paper that's very unique. So generally, at least I can tell the original boards fairly easily. See, even here it has the elastic down at the bottom. This is where the gun would go across the bottom.
across the bottom?
Like that.
Okay.
Like that. So I think there's about 6 or 7 of them in the sale. Again, highly sought after. Nice little subgroup. There are collectors that just collect Beiser figures. And these are nice. American infantry in red.
Yes. So those are our Beiser knockdown sets. That one particularly, once again, is lot 2195 if you're looking for it online. And next, we're moving on to an Elastilin set. It's the U.S. Army on Parade, and this set in particular we chose because it has a very interesting backstory. And the set the complete set's 38 pieces. It's lot 2177. We only have a couple of the pieces here.
Just to show you. So why don't you show them brief? Here's what's so great about dealing in antiques and toys and everything: the history that's involved. This is not the rarest set in the world, but it came in from a single consigner. His name was John Reith, R-E-I-T-H, and he has complete provenance with this set. And what's so cool about this, Mr. Reith was left these soldiers by his father, who the figures were bought by his grandfather. His grandfather actually fought in World War I, was born in Germany. And he fought at Alsace-Lorraine and also in Flanders in 1915. The grandfather then moved to America in 1926, and we have the letter from the family and everything that will go with the set. He moved there in 1926. His son, who he bought these figures for, probably in the early 30s, then grew up to be in the U.S. Army. He was in a German-speaking household, so he actually became a communication NCO for the Army in World War II.
Oh, wow.
And he actually was sort of on the number of the same battlefields that his grandfather fought before. That father then passed it on to our consigner, and sadly, there's no one left in the family that's interested. It's sort of the last of the line. But again, the history that goes with these things, I mean, that's what makes antiques so exciting.
I agree. It is so special, and I'm sure that it's going to find a special home as well.
It really will,
after this
and if you
weekend,
want
so.
something special, again, 33 pieces, it's probably going to sell around $400 to $500. So it's very affordable, but it's really a piece of history.
It is, and these pieces are really neat. These ones I just wanted to note because I think it's pretty cool. These actually do say Elastolin, Germany on the bottom, and I don't know if you can see that if I tilt it up a little bit like that. But
Those are they're U.S. infantry, about 100 millimeters high.
Yes, 100 millimeters. So once again, that one is lot 2177, and it comes with that nice letter.
Yeah, it really does.
So along with that, we do have other Elastolin in the sale too. So.
Yeah, there's a ton of composition and tin plate vehicles, some great collections.
Really special vehicles in this sale, so you should definitely look out for those. Those will be all the 3,000 lots.
Yeah,
so.
they're mainly on the end of day 2 or
Yes.
the end of Saturday. But there's a whole group. You can go online and see several hundred lots of composition and tin plate vehicles.
There are. So now we are moving on to some Philip Siegel toys. Which Ray is going to tell you a little bit about, but he's pretty much known for his cartoonish type figures, which
They were,
cool.
he was an English manufacturer around Bournemouth in England. He started right before the war, I think around 1937 to 39, but really didn't really start producing until after the war, I think around 1947, and produced till about 1951. So a very short period of time. But one of the things that's neat and why mainly American collectors really love him, he did a lot of the nursery rhymes and fairy tales.
yes, so we have,
So we have 2 of them
3
here.
little pigs.
We
which
know Bree has a little pig fixation.
excuse me. And so this is it comes with the original box. It's in great condition, and here they are. And I just think that they're adorable. And as Ray stated, that the Philip Siegel collection, there's a bunch of other nursery rhymes. So you have Jack and Jill, you have the old woman in her shoe, you have, I think, Little Miss Muffet.
No,
not that one.
Oh, actually, there is Little Miss Muffet.
Little Miss Muffet?
Yeah, I think there's Little Bo Peep, Goldilocks and the 3 Bears, Red Riding Hood, Humpty Dumpty.
Humpty Dumpty, can't forget Humpty Dumpty.
And a couple others, and then one other we have it here.
Yes, another one we have is Dick Whittington and his cat that also comes with his little original box. And the box there's a little bit of wear on his box, but as you can see, there he is with his cat. And the story of Dick Whittington goes that basically he was a poor orphan, and his little cat helped get him out of poverty.
You know how that cat helped?
How, Ray?
That cat was a champion ratter.
A ratter?
Well, back then, the rats were a real problem. This was back in the mid 1300s, late 1300s, early 1400s. The plague, everything was a real problem. A cat that could kill rats was highly sought after. And they literally would do there were people would go and they would pay him per rat, a shilling a rat. Probably not a shilling, probably like a half pence, but a very little amount. That's the folklore. In reality, Richard Whittington, Dick Whittington, came from a wealthy family, and he later became the Lord Mayor of London. So how about that?
Yes, he became the mayor. I still like the cat story.
I think once you become mayor, you don't have to kill any more rats.
I know, but how cute that his cat helped him like that. That's so sweet.
If you like a killer cat.
He wasn't hurting him.
That's true. That is very true.
But anyway, so if you're interested in those 2 lots, the 3 Little Pigs are lot 2086, and Dick Whittington and his cat are 2083. And they're both post-war sets. Next.
What's next?
We're moving on to a little ice cream lot.
Summertime.
So
ice cream.
this is a Taylor and Barrett piece. It is an ice cream tricycle, and it comes with its original box. It's lot 2080, and it is in nice condition, and I just think that this is a really nice piece as well.
You hear the bells ringing?
You can hear them. I can hear
The good humor, man, before good humor.
and this says, "Stop me and buy one." So I think that's cool. And
Has its original box.
yes.
Which this is it's a rare set, but with the box, it's very rare.
And he actually comes off of his little tricycle. So, but yeah, and let me see if there's anything else interesting on the box. I think Yep, it has revolving wheels, detachable man, like we said. So
Any Klondikes in there?
I wish I could go for a Klondike right about now. That sounds good.
So again, part of the Betty Wheeler collection, a lot of civilian, but also a lot of military, especially post-war, some Boy Scout things. Really great sale. So Betty Wheeler is going to be featured on the Saturday. We're starting the day with her collection.
Yes, and Saturday starts at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard. Next, we're moving on to a very neat set as well. This is lot 2202. For any soccer fans out there, this is a soccer set. It's made by D&Co. We don't really know that much about this particular set.
Here's the most interesting thing. Show them that lid. Now, there's a couple real interesting things about this breed. Okay, first, they call it a soccer set, soccer game. All over Europe, it's known as football. So I don't know if it was made for the American market or what, but they call it soccer. Now here's the other interesting thing. Look how they spell soccer on there. It's like I'm on soccer you.
Sock you in the face.
So I don't know who designed it. I don't know who they were selling it to, but I will tell you it's pretty neat. So it's a two-tray set. So you have the teams on each level. So that's the top level.
And it's a complete set. In its entirety, it's 22 pieces. And as you can see, there's a little slot for every soccer player. It comes with these little white flags to distinguish the boundary lines. It comes with the goals.
There's soccer balls.
There are soccer balls.
Pretty nice. So we can't show you that, but you put ball goes in there. And then see, each one has like a little kicking lever. So you can actually slide them on the table.
So before foosball tables, you could play and you had to kick each single player's leg individually. Just
and
like
that. These balls are very light, and they are the original ones. And actually, Bree and I were playing with it before. That's part of our job description. We got to play with these toys. But it actually does work pretty good. So
it really does. So it actually does work. It even comes. I mean, it's such a complete set. It couldn't be more complete. It comes with these little rules, which up at the top I thought it was pretty neat. It says testimonial. I think your game is the best football game I ever saw, and I shall tell my friends about it. So I just thought that was pretty charming, and it does say on this little rule sheet that it was manufactured by D&Co. out of London, and on the back it basically just talks about specialties. So these could have been maybe other games that they created,
railway race,
or something
table
like that.
tennis.
And
I have seen a tennis set sort of that might have been made by them, but I'm not sure. Oh, we got technical difficulties behind us.
Well, disregard that falling sign behind us, unless it hits me in the head.
Everyone's okay.
No soldiers were
panicked.
No soldiers were touched.
No soldiers down. We're all good.
Okay, well, you just saw a blip of some of our blooper reels actually live, so congrats. Anyways, this is a picture of the soccer set when it is set up. I'm sorry for the quality of this picture, but as you can see, all the guys are there, the goals are there, and it comes with even its little mat, and you would set all of that up together.
Yeah, that's the field, instructions, the whole bit.
So there has been interest
a lot
in
of
this.
interest. I'm sort of surprised. Americans, Europeans, they all seem to sort of have their eye on this one. So
definitely take a look if you haven't seen it, or if you skip by it in the catalog. It's worth a look. It's lot 2202.
I'm on soccer yet.
That banner almost soccered me in the head. Okay.
That's true.
Anyways,
all right.
This is a piece I really, really like. So we are calling this a Pentaplex, which it's a Courtney Greenhill, and we've showed these prior. But what's really neat about this one, is that the Courtney Greenhills, if you didn't see in our previous broadcast, are usually sold as individual figures. So to see one with 5 figures in one attached to one base is a very interesting, rare piece.
I've never seen one. It was made in 1986 by Peter. And again, we've talked about Peter bought the molds from Ping, and they were Courtney's molds. But this was a piece that he came up. I've never seen another one. And judging from the bidding, I don't think anyone else has one out there. So 5 figures on one base. really, really exceptional.
It really is.
I just had to show it. We have about, I think, 20 or so Courtney Greenhills in this
And it
set.
actually says on the bottom, like typical Courtney Greenhills, it has all of the gentlemen's names listed on there, and it also has Courtney Greenhill in England. I'm trying to read backwards, but so yes, Sue, we did need more Scotch tape. You're right, and Norman. But yeah, so that is that piece, and that's lot 2137. So very rare piece, lots of detail on there, very unique. And next, we are moving on to.
Okay, we got this all set up.
We did.
Bring out the elephants. Dun, dun, dun.
March of the Elephants.
And the Heidi Senate building. Look how beautiful that looks.
I know. Look at these elephants. So these would be all part of the Germanicus set.
This is actually the elephant for Germanicus. We're calling this the Heidi Senate building. We'll get into this. But this is actually the elephant it's called the Alexander the Great set. Okay. These all came in as single consignments. Extremely rare. The Alexander the Great, we do not have Alexander, unfortunately. For the Germanicus elephant, we do not have Germanicus. It was called Germanicus Julius Caesar, the emperor right around the transition from BC to AD, essentially was named Germanicus because he won many victories in Germany. So his military career started by working with trying to destroy the Gauls, and he was successful, so they gave him the term of Germanicus. And Heidi made a whole procession called the Procession of Germanicus. This is part of it, and then we have other parts in the sale too, some carts and sort of his wife and child walking. There's some bears in the set, but all very rare, very, very desirable. If you have Germanicus, which is like a little seated emperor that would sit right here. Incredible piece. Unfortunately, we don't have it.
It is, and if you have not seen the entire set or even parts of the Procession of Germanicus, you should definitely Google it, look it up. There are some pictures online, but it is, like Ray said, highly desirable, and it is a beautiful procession when all laid out together. So. And
then came in with it one of the things that we've never seen here, and let's show how.
Yes, we have never seen this.
These fall off, but there's actually mounted figures that go on these gold gilt horses.
So there are two mounted figures. They do fall off, so that's why I'm holding it. He goes on the front of this. There's a second. As Ray said, we've never seen this before. We've had a lot of interest in it, so it's a very, very nice building. As you can see, the coloring on it's beautiful. There are these little labels towards the front of it that are really nice. And then underneath, hold on one moment, let me remove him from the horse. So underneath, there is actually a mark that we have stated in the catalog. But
yeah, it's Baroness Bazaar. Don't know anything about this piece. The figures are obviously Heidi. I think it's very rare. There's been a lot of interest in it. Heidi made a lot of wooden buildings. Generally, they didn't make them themselves. They jobbed them out. I think this is one of those pieces that they jobbed out. I've never seen it. None of my friends seem to have ever seen it. So again, for Germanicus, which is a rare set, there's maybe 20 of them known. But I think they're all going to be vying for this because this would be like your central point. I think this is as rare as the Trojan horse for the fall of Troy, which is a wooden horse that came with the Heidi sets.
It really is, and it displays beautifully. As you can see, it photographs beautifully in the catalog. So it's a really, really, really nice piece. And I'm just going to hold up the two riders closer so you can see those as well. Just because, like I said, I didn't want them to fall off. But, yeah, so that's a...
Yeah, there's like an officer with a sword and then a...
And then he has like a little cape, yes.
Spear bearer.
A spear bearer.
That's right.
So that was our Senate building. And it is 5 by 11 by 7, if anyone was interested in the dimensions. And those are lots 2170, 2171, and 2173. So that includes the two elephants as well as the building. And those were all the lots that we had. That went really fast.
It did.
Oh, actually, we have one more lot.
What's that lot? What you're wearing?
My attire today. If anyone's interested.
I need to salute you.
Maybe. I'm a colonel of the 7th Hussar.
There you go.
So
Uh-oh. Here comes out the big
put
guns.
this on, and this is towards the end of the first half of day
The
2.
middle of day 2.
So
Look
it
at
comes with
this.
this as well. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is playing with this. Okay, there you go. This is it.
How about that?
This plume is immense.
You can't see that anywhere
As you
else.
can see, you can't
your
even see
Busby
the top
bag
of
was
it.
on the wrong side. You got your Busby bag
The
down.
Busby bag's there, and I don't have the full outfit on. Let me stand up one more time so you can actually see this. But as you can see, move my hair a little. The detail on it is just absolutely beautiful. It comes with the entire mannequin, not myself, but the actual mannequin that it displays on. And it comes with this little bag.
I mean, the detail. I'm telling her this should be your signature look.
I mean, it has this. Look how detailed this is. I'm just gonna like slowly spin and not touch the spinner. Maybe not fall over totally.
Look at that.
But yeah, so this uniform is very, very cool. So I love it. I think that it's a great addition if you have a soldier room in your home. This looks absolutely stunning in front or beside of your cabinet. So I think that it's a great piece, and it's something different that we usually don't have, and it's unique. And
Now, we have a little bit of military in this. We also have a Coldstream Guards uniform. This one, I believe, is from the 20s. So this is a real vintage. I mean, it's exquisite. I mean, the detail and
Yeah.
the workmanship on it, it can't be surpassed.
I mean, to imagine this, and it's very, very heavy. So to imagine they actually fought battle in this, it is amazing. And you can't even really get into it yourself. Like, you need help buttoning it. You can't
have to
really
help her get in her uniform, get out of the uniform.
So, but yeah, so this is part of our militaria for sale. So if you're interested, 7th Hussar, right here. It also comes with pants and boots. So, with that being said, like I said, those are all the lots we had to feature today. Unfortunately, that went really fast. But we also have
High five when you're having fun.
a new book. We have a new book by Joe Wallace.
Yes.
It is called Soldiers of Greater Britain.
That's what we talked about earlier.
And it is an awesome book. If you're interested, it's $75 plus $5 shipping, and a little special treat.
We have 8 copies signed by Joe himself.
Yes, we have them signed by Joe. So Joe's John Hancock on the inside. It's a fantastically written book. Let's see if I can.
Joe's been working on this a long time. So this covers first version Britons, basically, 1893 to 1924. That's the most sought after, most desirable of all Britons. Organized like most of his books by lot number or by set number. Goes from 1 through wherever they ended in 1923. Shows different versions, different boxes.
The photographs are beautiful.
Very, very comprehensive.
It has a nice, for the novice Britons collector, it has a beautiful index in the back, so it can take you to all of the sets that you were looking for. They're all alphabetized, so it makes it really easy to get to everything. So
Great book. Everyone needs it in their library.
You do.
It's sort of the go-to book. So if you have an early set and you have a question on it, this is the book to buy.
yeah, so thank you, Joe Wallace.
Great job, Joe. Thank
Great
you.
book.
Thanks for contributing to the hobby.
Yes, most certainly. And next, our next Cyber Toy auction is going to be July 29th, and it will begin at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard, featuring various toys and banks.
Celluloid toys. I think there's
And
celluloid.
celluloid toys as well.
Still banks, mechanical banks.
There
tin toys.
are, I think, approximately 350 lots, so that's going to be up online soon for your viewing pleasures, as well as to register to bid. And while we're on the topic of toys and banks, we just returned from Portland, Oregon on Sunday. We were at a joint MBCA and Stillbank convention. So we would like to thank Frank Kidd and his entire family, especially Julie, for organizing and hosting us in Portland. We had a great time. And we'd also like to thank Linda and Curtis Smith for their hospitality. And if you haven't been to Portland or the Kid Toy Museum, you should definitely head there and check it out. The museum is right across the river from downtown Portland. And we also received these little souvenirs. This is Doc Yak, so he's a little bank that we got there. So
for all the soldier guys out there, We're members of two clubs, the Mechanical Bank Collectors of America and the Still Bank Collectors. These are old piggy banks. Every year we go to a different location, and this was our little gift that was given to us.
Yes, so
Brady's favorite.
He is. And if you're interested, you can ask us more questions and we can tell you how to join the club and all those fun things, and you get to travel and see awesome places. And we actually got to spend a day touring Portland, and we went to see, Vista Point, which was this mountain point you could see across, and all these beautiful greenery. And I like to say that it's almost tropical if you haven't been out that way. It's
Jurassic Park.
It's not really hot like the tropics, but it's just so green and so beautiful. And we saw this waterfall, which
What was the waterfall called?
Oh man, hold on 1 second. This is why we have phones, because I can Google this, and I will.
And what was that called, Bree? We spent half a day there.
Multnomah Falls.
Multnomah Falls.
We were at Multnomah Falls, and worth seeing. Highly recommend it. And you know, it's been known that Sasquatch is out there roaming the forest somewhere.
She was looking for him. He was turning
Unfortunately,
over
I
every
didn't
rock.
But,
That's Sasquatch. If you
no
would have
Sasquatch.
seen you in your little SAR uniform, Sasquatch would go running.
Oh, good for me.
That makes you an extra 2 feet tall. That
You're
little
right,
balloon.
it does. But yeah, so highly recommend a trip to Portland, Oregon. And our next soldier auction
That's right.
is also going to be sometime in July, so we will be announcing that shortly. And just an announcement to save the date, we have 2 fantastic sales coming up on October 14th. We're going to have an investment rarity sale, and we are also going to have a 18th and 19th century flat collection by a very interesting gentleman by the name of I.B. Melchior. And this catalog in particular is going to be extremely interesting and different, unlike any of our catalogs that you've seen, just because of the way that this collection was built and the provenance that come from this man. It was very highly publicized, sought after, and we have a lot of neat scrapbook type of information, and there were a lot of records kept as far as the provenance of this collection.
Well, I.B. Eaves, he was a screenplay writer. He actually is famous for writing Robinson Crusoe: Lost in Space.
Yes, he did.
I think there was a monkey in that one.
I think so. It's been a while since I've watched it.
But you know, he was big in the 60s and 70s, sort of in the B movies, made a number of movies, was well published, well respected. His father was a celloist, I believe, and they sort of call him he's one of the prizes of Denmark. So he was very big in Denmark. And his grandfather is the one that actually bought a collection from a Dutch general back in, I think it was 1897. And we have all these records. That's what's so neat. We have all the records.
We do. So the catalog's going to be laid out as if it's a scrapbook. So definitely stay tuned for it. We're going to be posting a lot of fun things on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. We have all kinds of neat pictures of IB, and the provenance of this flat collection is unparalleled.
And
it's awesome.
there's a number of flats from the 1700s and a lot from there's about 5,000 figures. A lot of figures from the 1800s.
Yeah, and
really some very historic miniatures.
And another thing that's really rare about this that we usually don't have that often are there are certain lots throughout this sale that we actually have pictures of IB with that will be pictured next to the lot.
He really publicized it very well. Wait till you see it.
Which we rarely have.
So you're going to want to order that catalog.
Yes, order the catalog. It's worth it. It's going to be so awesome. And that's all that we had today. Except we just have 1,800 lots to sell this weekend. So looking forward to it. Like we said, you can still jump online Live Auctioneers and register to bid for the Betty Wheeler collection. And happy bidding.
I think the 7th Hussar should sign her up. You can't get a better looking Hussar there, that's for sure. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
We'll see you at the next show.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
Bye now.
Bye now.